Yes. Oh, well, Trinity, you are amazing. And we love how you roll. We love that we get to participate in this dance with you. And we love that every glance of your eyes is overflowing with delight in us and exploding with creativity and wonder and limitless potential. And we just say, wow, we open our hearts wide up like sons do and just get freshly baptized in your love. We breathe in the wonder, the beauty, the bliss of your presence right now. We say thank you that you're here. We thank you for doing great, wonderful, powerful, beautiful works in our lives. And we just say, have your way, afresh, move and minister and be beautiful and powerful and dynamic and dance with us and have fun with us as we go on this great, big adventure discovering more about you. Amen. Goodness me. Goodness me. All right. I want to get your attention by saying something dynamic, and then we're going to explore it. Here's the dynamic thing that I want to say to you. I want to say to you that the cross was never intended to add extra information to the gospel. Right? The cross was not intended to add extra information to the gospel. What? Are you serious? Hopefully I'm grabbing your attention by saying that. It's interesting how for a lot of people, after the cross, the gospel message is totally different to before the cross. It's kind of interesting because Jesus kind of came and taught us the gospel, and then we go, right, now the cross makes everything different. And then Jesus leaves and we change the story completely. What? So let's have some Bible on that. First of all, I want to look at Matthew 24:14. So the handouts that you've got for now, just pop them away. They're there, but just kind of pop them away. You might want to take notes. You could kind of follow through along with them, but I'm not sure that whether they will be a help or a hindrance if you're trying to follow through them, and if I decide to bounce around and jump on some rabbit trails and be a little bit off-piste and four-wheel drive styles as we go. So they will be helpful afterwards for sure, because it'll all kind of be in there, but I think for now, maybe just hide them away and use them for later reference. But the first verse that we're going to check out is Matthew 24, verse 14. It says, this is Jesus speaking, and he says this. He says, and this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in the whole world as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come. Oh, that's interesting. So what gospel is that? What gospel is Jesus saying is going to be preached to the whole world as a testimony to all nations? It's the gospel that he's just been, he's dedicated his ministry to sharing. The gospel or the good news or the too good to be true news, it's all the same Greek word which I struggle to pronounce, and so I just say eagle lion because it's kind of like that, but there's this weird U in there and I'm not sure exactly how I'm supposed to say it. So I just kind of paraphrase this Greek word eagle lion, which that's not what it is, but it means gospel or the good news, or some people translate it the too good to be true news. Jesus devoted his ministry to sharing the too good to be true news everywhere he went. And he trained his disciples to preach and to teach and to share the too good to be true news everywhere that they went. And then when he commissioned them with the Great Commission in Matthew 28, he commissioned them to preach that same good news that he'd been training them to preach, that he'd been preaching himself right through his whole ministry, and that he prophesied would be the message, the gospel that would be preached to the whole world afterwards. So then, if the message that they're going to preach to the whole world is the message they've been preaching before the cross, should we afterwards after the cross, should we then be preaching a different message? No, the cross is not supposed to change the message that Jesus trained his disciples to preach. The cross is supposed to be the ultimate, climactic, phenomenal, fantastic emphasis of the message that he's already been preaching. It's supposed to endorse and authenticate and highlight and emphasize the gospel message that Jesus preached his whole ministry. Very good. So what was that message that he was so focused on in his whole ministry? What was that message that he was focused on? What was he always about? This is something that we explored yesterday. Because Jesus understood humanity's issue was that we didn't know the Father, and so we'd lost sight of our own divine design. We'd lost sight of the blueprint of our divine design. So Jesus came to reveal the Father to us so that in seeing and discovering and knowing the Father, simultaneously we could discover ourselves. And then Jesus said in John 8:32, you will know the truth and the truth will set you free. Oh, good. Let's hear a little bit louder, a bit more freedom in that free. Jesus said, you will know the truth and the truth will set you free. Oh, yes. I almost sense just almost a little bit of William Wallace in that declaration. Let's try one more time with a little bit of zhuzh, a little bit of power in it, Alex. Raw power as we shout out free. You will know the truth and the truth will set you free. Oh, wow. Yes, the truth will set you free. Boom. So Jesus' message was, his good news was always the revelation of the Father. That was the core. That is the good news. The good news is that. The good news is this simple. You have a good daddy, and you're made in his image. Yay! That's it. That is the gospel right there. You've got a good daddy, and he exclusively defines your identity. Yay! That's the good news. That's the too good to be true news. The too good to be true news is that you're not defined by your life experience. You're defined by the fact that you were made in the image of the Trinity, and they're inviting you to participate in the divine dance that you were created for. Yay! Brilliant. So, how then does the cross emphasize, authenticate, harmonize, and resonate with the good news that we have a good daddy and we're perfectly made in his image? Now that's the truth. And guess what happens? When you discover that, you get free. Ha! And the more you discover it, the freer you get. Oh, now here's a radical dynamic concept. Was freedom something that you could only access after the cross? No, Jesus said before the cross, you will know the truth and the truth will set you free. So here's something pretty cool. The truth is the truth before we believe it. The truth is the truth before we believe it. The truth isn't even just a doctrine. The truth is a person. His name is Jesus. He said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. He actually existed before the cross, and when Jesus said, and then you will know, when you know the truth, the Greek word for know is gnosko. When you know the truth, it means to actually have an intimate experiential knowledge. It's like the Greek counterpart for the Hebrew word yada. It's to really know, to not just a head knowledge, but when you really know, when you have intimate relationship with this revelation, when you've got inside it and it's inside you and you've got your head right around it and it's like, yes! When you know the truth, it will set you free. Excellent. John 17:22. Bit of a recap from yesterday, but also the heartbeat